larger. So our 200 cow herds are going to 500 cows. Our 500 cow herds are going to 1,000 cows. Our 1,000 cow herds are going to 3,000 cow herds. So that's the largest farm. But we also have a lot of diversity in our dairy industry. This is just a picture of cows that are housed in a freestall environment. They're going towards the parlor. And you can see that this is a concrete flooring, and they're heading up to get milked. These cows, however, are out on pasture. So we still have a lot of farms that are grass-based dairy farms. We have a lot of organic dairy farms. We have small farms, and we have large farms. So we have a tremendous diversity in our dairy industry. So this is a map of the state of Wisconsin itself. Again, here is Dane County. Right there is where the University of Wisconsin-Madison is, where I work. So we're in the southern part of the state. And again, this is the density of cows. And so again, you can see a lot of the cows are in this region of the state. The northern part of Wisconsin is pretty much full of trees. So there's a lot of forest there, not a lot of dairy cows. So you can see here we have just over 12,000 dairy farms in Wisconsin. We've got 1.2 million lactating dairy cows. So that comprises, remember, we have 9 million total cows in the U.S. So 13% of the U.S. dairy herd is in Wisconsin. And again, our largest farm, 8,000 cows, but the average number of cows per farm is still under 100. So we have a lot of small farms and a lot of large farms as well. So it's a very diverse industry. So I want to get into now measuring and monitoring reproduction. And the reason I showed those first slides was just to show you that it doesn't matter whether you're milking 8,000 cows or whether you're milking 20 cows. Reproduction is important for small farms and it's important for large farms. Reproduction is an incredible driver of economics on a dairy. So before I talk about economics, I want to talk about how we measure and monitor reproduction on farms. So what I put up on the screen are what I would consider to be traditional measures of reproduction. So we have things like the calving interval, first service conception rate, days open. So you can read that list. Again, these are what I consider traditional measures of reproduction. We may look at these measures of reproduction on our farms now, but we're not using these measures as our primary benchmarks to monitor reproduction. So these are what I would consider to be older measures of reproduction. And there's many problems with using these older measures of reproduction. So the way that we're measuring reproduction now is reproductive performance in a dairy herd is determined by how rapidly the herd management system turns open cows into pregnant cows. So the key question that we're asking here is, how rapidly are cows becoming pregnant in this herd? So if this is the question that we're asking, we want our measure that we're going to use to reflect that question. So when we ask about reproduction, we're asking the question, how rapidly are cows becoming pregnant in this herd? So these are the different metrics that we'll use. The first one is what we call the 21-day pregnancy rate. And the question that we're asking is, at what rate are eligible cows getting pregnant per unit time? So you're going to hear me talking throughout the day about the 21-day pregnancy rate. So I want to make sure that we all understand what I'm talking about when that comes up in the rest of the talks. The 21-day pregnancy rate is determined by two other rates. The first one is what we call the conception rate. And we're asking the question, how efficiently do cows conceive once those cows are inseminated? Most of you probably measure the conception rate of the cows in your herd. The second measure then is what we call the AI service rate. And the question that we're asking here is, are we getting eligible cows inseminated in a timely manner? So the pregnancy rate depends on two things. The rate at which we can inseminate cows and the rate at which the inseminated cows get pregnant. So if we want to improve the pregnancy rate in a herd, we have to either increase the conception rate of the cows, or we have to increase the rate at which those cows are inseminated, or both. And so my second talk, I will discuss ways that we're trying to achieve both of those things to improve the pregnancy rate. All right, so let's go on to the 21-day pregnancy rate. So here's the 21-day pregnancy rate. The definition is the successful outcomes, or pregnancies, divided by the total possible time units when eligible cows are at risk to become pregnant. So we're looking at cows in a herd. To be eligible to become pregnant, they have to be past the voluntary waiting period. They have to be declared not pregnant. And then those cows are considered to be eligible to become pregnant. So for example, if we had 350 cows in a pen, and those 350 cows were open, they're not pregnant, and we're trying to get them pregnant, and we watched what happens to those 350 cows for a 21-day period. What we would find then is that if 35 cows became pregnant during that 21-day period, our pregnancy rate then would be a 10% pregnancy rate. So that's how we're calculating pregnancy rate.